From Aggie Memorial Stadium on the campus of New Mexico State University, KRWG-TV and the New Mexico State University Pride Band present the 1996 American Southwest Tournament of Marching Bands. This program is made possible in part by El Paso Electric Company, who supports the efforts of KRWG-TV in providing quality, family-oriented programming, and by the Music Box of Las Cruces, New Mexico and El Paso, Texas, and the Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company of Las Cruces, New Mexico, in support of music and youth. Now, here are your hosts, Dolores Lenko, Francis McBeth, and William Clark.
Hello, I'm Dolores Lenko, host for KRWG-TV, public television for southern New Mexico and West Texas. We welcome you tonight. But before we talk to our compatriots, I was going to say, before we talk to the experts, we'd like to send you a message, a word of welcome from New Mexico State University's president, J. Michael Orendorff.
Bienvenidos a nuestra universidad. I'm Mike Orendorff, president of New Mexico State University, and I'd like to welcome all of these fine musicians and their band directors to our campus here in Las Cruces. It's positive experiences like these that make teaching the worthwhile profession that it is. This program is some of the good news about young people today that's so often overlooked in today's society. I also want to extend a warm welcome to the public television viewers across America who are watching this program. If this show is your first introduction to our university, we hope it won't be the last. New Mexico State has a long tradition of excellence. We're a Carnegie One institution with over $100 million in research grants last year, but we also have a strong commitment to the arts and to arts education, as is evidenced by the program that you're watching. In addition to our very successful music department, we have a fine arts program that encompasses 2 galleries and a museum and one of the finest regional theater companies in the United States. We hope you enjoy this year's broadcast, and we invite you to visit us here in Las Cruces anytime.
If you like marching bands, then you're going to love the next 2.5 hours, because we have 8 winners for you this evening. In fact, Dr. Clark and Dr. McBeth, 8 winners is not really enough winners, because if you were with us, and of course we were here all day watching 34 bands, there must have been at least 12 winners and probably more. How did it happen to did they get to turn it down to 8? How did they tune into that number?
It's an extremely difficult job.
I can believe it.
It's a heart-rending job for judges, because they know what these people go through, because these judges have done it themselves.
Right.
You know, anything that's a judgment call, whether it be the Olympics or bull riding, you know, you'll have disagreements, but they get close to the very top group.
The first band we're going to see this evening is the Midland High School Band from Midland, Texas, and we're going out to their drum majors for introductions.
Hi, I'm Rachel Martinez. And I'm Becca Hoke. We're the drum majors from Midland High School in Midland, Texas. Our directors are Cody Myers, Don Zerbriggen, and Stephanie McCown. Selections from our show include Africa, Ceremony, Song, and Ritual by Robert W. Smith.
Are judges ready? Are the drum majors ready? Midland High School, you may take the field for final competition. Midland, Texas, the Midland High School Bulldogs.
Oh, that was a little bit of Africa with trees and straw huts and shields, all kinds of good things. Your comments on that, gentlemen?
Well, and it was a really nice band. You know, Midland,
Yes, it
Texas
was.
has had a history of good high school bands there in their two high schools. And their precision was quite good. At the very beginning, if you notice the block moving all the way around, it had such good carriage and such good space between them. But the flags, we must say something about the flags. That was a great flag line, and they were right in rhythm. You know, flags are not done by counting. You have to feel the music. And that's why they'll swing slow, and then they'll go around, come right back down.
Yeah.
Right in perfect time.
It's the divided beat. If they can't divide the beat, you just can't do flag. That's right.
Well,
look at the stride here.
Yeah, it's just so uniform, the step. And the carriage is so good, particularly when they're in the block band. You can really see it.
And in marching maneuvering, you look for carriage, you look for precision of stride, and for spacing. Look at the spacing on the arc, and it's just almost perfect.
Yeah.
You know, that's the reason we wear uniforms, because we want to look alike.
Exactly.
We want to have the spacing.
So we're going to look alike, we might as well march alike.
Might as well march alike, exactly. This band has an excellent sense of precision. Here's an old X&O drill that you and I have seen 30 years ago, and it's still quite effective. They do the diagonals in the contemporary marching band somewhat different than we did. You know, we did a 45-degree angle, 8 to 5, and they do this strictly on a spatial awareness type thing.
And it's one of our smaller bands, isn't it?
Well, it's not a small band, but it's one of the smaller ones here. And as Dr. Clark said, their visuals make that band look bigger. So that was a smart thing on the director's part, enhance the size.
Putting those trees out there, sure. It gives you more field coverage just immediately.
Yeah.
This is a good band. And as you said, Midland has, and Odessa, that whole area.
That's kind of a band hotbed.
Oh, man, yeah. And even Andrews and some of those schools back in the past have had some really good bands.
But these bands win these things on fundamentals. They don't win them on trees.
Exactly.
You know, they win them on really those fundamentals, and that's what they're doing so well. We were talking about their stride and their carriage. When you do those together, then you win contests.
You're exactly right, and that's a point that needs to be driven home a lot, I think, particularly with some of our younger directors that get really excited about the GE and things like that. It goes back to just like in football, it's blocking, tackling, and throwing and catching, and band is playing and marching and doing it together. This band does it awfully well.
Yes, they do.
They go through a lot of formations. They go through a lot of sets. And they aren't in that set maybe more than 2 or 3 seconds.
You know, in the very opening where they turn the block, you know, I never did anything like that.
Oh, no.
That would scare me to death.
No.
Well, as all these bands perform, we all like to guess which band will be judge tournament champion. And to help us understand better just what the judges are looking for, here's Dr. Clark to give us some insight into marching and maneuvering.
The 8 high school bands you're watching on tonight's show represent some of the finest groups the Southwest has to offer. The performances you will see are unified packages made up of many diverse elements. As we go through the evening, I'd like to show you how our 5 judges examine these elements, both as separate categories and as an overall presentation to arrive at the final score. A marching band performance consists of 3 general elements, which are called captions. The visual part of a typical band show is a caption we refer to as marching and maneuvering. During the course of the evening, one judge will evaluate each band strictly on how they march. His critique will include things as simple as whether or not all the students are in step, to the more complex considerations of evaluating how difficult a marching band drill is to execute. Now, this can present quite a challenge to a judge because there's a lot going on in every second of most band shows. First, here is out of step versus in step. A bit more difficult to pick up is phasing. Here, students aren't exactly out of step, but they aren't precisely together either. Proper execution of various turning styles is also crucial to the overall success of the show. Here are some poorly executed turns, followed by some well-executed turns. To create the complex designs that you see on today's marching field, students must actively practice what we call spatial awareness. Put simply, the student must constantly ask themselves, am I in or out of the overall field picture? Here's an example of good spatial awareness. Notice how the distance from student to student is very even all the way across the field, front to back, side to side. Notice in this example that as the field picture changes, students must adjust their individual positions to maintain the overall structure of the design. Finally, the marching and maneuvering judge also looks very carefully at individual marching techniques. Things they consider include control, discipline, posture, style, confidence, and carriage. The marching and maneuvering judge is responsible for awarding 200 points toward a band's possible perfect score of 1,000. I'll be back with more on how these marching bands compete.
Next, we bring you the Bel Air High School Band from El Paso, Texas.
Good evening. My name is Richard Huerta.
And I am Marilu Diaz, and we're the drum majors of the Big Red Pride Marching Band in El Paso, Texas.
Our directors are Mr. David Waters, Mr. John Scanlon, and Miss Allison Grendel.
Tonight, our show will include music from Star Trek.
Watch as we take you into the next generation.
Are the judges ready? Drum majors Richard Huerta and Marilu Diaz, is your band ready? Big Red Pride, you may take the field for a final competition. From El Paso, Texas, the Bel Air High School Big Red Pride Marching Band.
All right, Bel Air, wonderful rendition. And most of all, gentlemen, it's hard to believe that when we're watching that 150 young people out there, we're watching people 14 through 17 years of age. They look every bit as good, if not better, than some university bands. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. And some of the very tricky maneuvers that they do, one that's so impressive with so many people, is what we used to call, Dr. Clark, that hesitation step. When they're changing directions, they will halt, kick a knee out for just a moment, and then go on.
If they just divide the beat with that locking of that knee,
Is that the way to do it?
It really is effective. And
Yeah.
they do it exceptionally well. That's one thing that gives them such a rhythmic move into a direction change. And their precision is really quite unbelievable.
Oh, that little turn, that little step really
There it
does.
was right there.
Right there. Sure it was. The flags were not quite as snappy as the flags here the flags are coming that we saw in the first band, but still good. In the first band, the flags were so well together because they were thinking that music, and there was one girl out there in the first band who wasn't thinking the music,
Right.
so she stood out the whole time.
Right. This band, I thought, played exceptionally well dynamically.
Yeah.
When they made a direction change or a picture change, the dynamics really did exactly what the choreography fit the dynamics so well.
Yeah.
Again, the little things that a band like this does, I think, is what puts them here tonight. Those little things like that hesitation halt, the hesitation direction change.
Right.
And you and I were talking this afternoon about these large segment maneuvers like they're doing here.
Yes.
When you make a mistake, it compounds itself. Now look at this one.
And these large maneuvers last a longer time. There's more chance of a problem.
And when it's just like dominoes, so when you have a mistake, it really multiplies itself to the end of the segment.
Exactly. No, the playing of this band was very controlled with a lot of contrast.
And the woodwinds.
You could hear the woodwinds.
And that's a thing, too, that's coming back, I think. People are featuring woodwinds.
It is. It certainly is, because we didn't hear them for so long.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Another one of those really good El Paso bands.
Yeah. They use the capes to their advantage with the direction change because of the white and the red.
Right.
Some good players in this group. Some good individual players.
I believe we have a replay of the percussion section. Now, for our viewers, this is a huge well, it's not new, it's been around for a while, but change from the old days where the percussion literally played for the audience, just the percussion. They're not timekeepers anymore.
Right, and they're the third choir.
Third choir now.
Just like Clifton Williams, he was the pioneer for that in the concert band. But you'll see, today we saw percussion sections set in the center of the field. We have split 2 or 3 different, what we call pits, and then we see the traditional ones that stay pretty much in the middle, and some awfully good young snare drummers.
Dr. Clark, can you imagine that much percussion equipment? You know, when you and I started out in the same town together, we could do good to have one bass drum and a snare, and bouncing on a guy's leg with a large strap.
Exactly, and maybe one set of cymbals.
Exactly.
It was the smaller band, only had one cymbal.
And we never thought about polishing them.
Right? No, we couldn't do that. All right, the next band is from El Paso, Texas, the Del Valle High School Band, and here are their drum majors to introduce the band.
Good evening. We are the Del Valle Band from El Paso, Texas. I'm Joyce Evans.
Max Molina,
Tonight's performance will include American Salute,
Chester,
Fanfare of the Common Man.
and Shake Your Dance.
Our band directors are Marlene Mayer, Brian Downey, Mike Allen, and Robert Melendez.
Our flag instructors are Clayton Farley and Shirley Martinez.
We'd like to dedicate tonight's performance with pride and love to Clayton Farley, who couldn't be here with us tonight. Thank you.
We hope you enjoy our show, a performance of pride.
are smart looking and smart sounding. What'd you think of
Oh,
that
wasn't that a
group?
fine group,
You
Dolores?
bet it was.
Oh, and of course, with them playing such good music, this might be a good time to mention the huge change in the past 20 years in marching band has been the music.
Yeah.
You know, prior to that, and a lot of people maybe might complain that they don't hear marches, but they hear such good music now. They started off with the Morton Gould American Salute, which is the old Johnny Marching Home arrangement.
Well, I think you told me one time that you wrote that overnight.
Oh, really?
You had to have that for a radio show.
It was a radio show during the Second World War.
Right, and I think you
Yeah.
wrote it overnight. He had several copies helping him.
We did it
overnight.
And then they went into the Chester by Billings Chester, but of course the William Schumann composition of it, and played it quite well. He really covered himself on Chester because there's some spots, and I actually asked Bill Schumann once about that funny measure in there. And there's a funny measure in there, and when they got to that, they put drums in it.
They sure did. Took those three trumpets out.
Those three trumpets
No
out.
three trumpet players in the world could play.
That was really smart on the director's part. From there, they went into the fanfare for the common man of Gould. You know what that was written for, Dr. Clark?
Aaron Copeland? No, what?
In the Second World War, they were trying to get all the people to work in the war plants. And people with a lot of money didn't want to work in the war plants. And so they commissioned artists, playwrights, movies to write a fanfare for the common man to work in the war plants.
I didn't know.
Norman Rockwell did a common man painting. Then they went into the Crawl Shaker Dance with John Zedekli. So I just enjoyed the music, and they played it so well.
And look what they've done with the visuals that help the music. And you know, the other thing that helps too is they change tempos and change tempos with the feet as well as with the horns, and really keeps an energy going.
All right. Right now, let's learn a little bit more about what the judges are watching for in each performance. This time, Dr. Clark will help us understand the judging of music execution.
Sometimes it seems like the most overlooked part of a marching band show is the actual music being played on the field. The music almost gets taken for granted. Well, not by our Tournament of Bands judges. 2 judges are dedicated strictly to the evaluation of a band's musical playing ability. Put simply, the music execution judges make some critical listening decisions about which band played best. At the end of the show, their individual scores are added to the overall average from all the judges. But our main goal is to put the judges' information into an educational context. We want to help students improve their musical skills. In a general sense, music execution judges listen for tone quality and intonation. Tone quality deals with the overall sound a band produces, and intonation is just a term for whether or not the band is in tune. Can you tell when our band is in tune or not? Specifically, music judges listen for things like ensemble attacks and releases. Do the playing members of a band start and end notes together? Note and rhythmic accuracy. Do the musicians play all the right notes and rhythms? Music execution judges also listen carefully for dynamic contrast. Does the band play with a wide range of soft and loud sounds to achieve maximum contrast? Finally, the music execution judges give consideration to the complexity of the music being played. In addition, they look at the marching drill design and evaluate how hard it is to play music in a given field setup. For example, it's considerably more difficult to keep a band together when they're stretched out from 20-yard line to 20-yard line. It's also more difficult for students to play cleanly when they're marching a complex drill pattern at the same time. Here's an example of complex music coupled with a difficult drill design. Each music execution judge can award up to 200 points toward a band's final score, making music execution worth 400 points. We'll take a look at the job of our third set of judges, the general effect judges, a little later. Now back to the stadium for our next band.
Our next band coming up is the Andress High School from El Paso, Texas, and here are their drum majors.
Hi, my name is Caribe Divine.
And I'm Stephanie Fernandez, and we're the drum majors from the Andress Golden Eagle Marching Band.
Our band is under the direction of Hector Galindo, assisted by Daniel Allen.
The band will be performing Andrew Lloyd Webber's award-winning musical, Sunset Boulevard.
Our show selections include the overture, Let's Have Lunch, As If We Never Said Goodbye,
Sunset Boulevard, and With One Look.
Relax and enjoy the show as we take you back down Sunset Boulevard.
Are the judges ready? Drum majors Caribe Divine and Stephanie Fernandez, is your band ready? Golden Eagles, you may take the field for final competition.
All right, the Andress Band, and they are crowd pleasers. Really, really a fine group.
It's a terrific band, just a terrific
And
band.
they have been for a long time.
Yeah, Andress Band has been one of the better bands here, one of the better programs in this area for many, many years. And you know, when a program gets up like that, they may have some dips and some high points and low points, but they're always going to be back. It's really a good band.
Yeah, here it is, coming into the sideline. And of course, this is toward the end of the show, although it's showing it early. And that's always a powerful sound. Always
you know, as you
gets the audience
it's
clapping.
It's probably the most exciting move in marching band. It's the company front.
Oh, yeah. And we've got one coming up in a minute, Dr. Clark, that's one of the neatest, cleverest steps to a 5/8 meter. And when we get to that replay, I want you to show the people, a 5/8 is called asymmetric meter because it's not regular. There they go through that HS. That's really neat.
Thing.
It really is, you know. Where they went into it and went out of it, you know. Gosh, it took me 6 weeks just to form an O at my school. You know, much less go in and out of the thing.
And then the time you taught everybody how to spell Washington, I was too late.
That's right. Absolutely. Well, that big company front, that's always so exciting.
It really is. The Andress Band, as well as many others, you notice a lot of blocks going on. A lot of block coming back.
Now, here's that step to the 5/8, Dr. Clark. I hope the audience can see this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's really neat.
It's really a neat way of handling it.
Yeah.
And with asymmetric meter, it used to be just, of course, taboo.
Well, just what
You just couldn't march in 3.
That's right. Well, I don't know. I've done it in 3. We did a show once in 3. It was a salute to Jimmy Hoffa.
Was it?
Yeah. We'll tell you about it later.
Yes, we will. But will you stay tuned for more coverage of the 96 American Southwest Tournament of Marching Bands Finals Competition right after this.
Welcome back to Aggie Memorial Stadium on the campus of New Mexico State University for more coverage of the finals competition of the 1996 American Southwest Tournament of Marching Bands. This program is made possible in part by El Paso Electric Company, who supports the efforts of KRWG-TV in providing quality, family-oriented programming, and by the Music Box of Las Cruces, New Mexico, and El Paso, Texas, and the Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company of Las Cruces, New Mexico, in support of music and youth. Here again are your hosts, Dolores Lenko, Francis McBeth, and William Clark.
And we're back, and we've just been sitting here talking about the fantastic bands that we're seeing tonight, and we can't really imagine how they're going to get any better. They seem to be a group of anywhere from 100 to almost 200 students in the band, and that takes some maneuvering.
Right. I was just sitting here I was sitting here thinking about the Jimmy Hoffa show, the salute to Jimmy Hoffa. And how did you do that?
Well, the general effect on it was this. We went in the company front to the 50-yard line and formed a teamster. But what really made the show, we all wore union suits. And that was the first change of uniform, I think, in American bands. But we're supposed to be talking about this band, Dr. Clark.
This band.
That's right.
By the way, the Andress band did one of the first uniform changes behind where they'd go
when they go through the tunnel.
Go through the tunnel and come out in another
That's
uniform.
right.
They certainly did through the magic of Velcro, I believe. And it was quite a... The next band we have was the Greg Randall winner. The Greg Randall winner is given to the Outstanding Marching Band from New Mexico. And Greg Randall, by the way, the sponsor of this award, will be 79 tomorrow. Happy birthday,
really?
Greg Randall.
Happy birthday, Greg.
Good to you, Greg.
Great band director and a great man. The Del Norte Band from Albuquerque, New Mexico. We'll go to their drum majors.
Hello, we are the drum majors from the Del Norte High School Phantom Night Marching Band.
Our band director is Mr. E. David Atencio.
Our show is comprised of music from Chick Corea's My Spanish Heart.
We hope you enjoy.
Are the judges ready? Drum majors Stephen Brown and Brandy Kellerman, is your band ready? Phantom Night Marching Band, you may take the field for final competition.
A lot of good solos in this band, a lot of good players. In fact, this band traditionally has a lot of good players. They always do a good job on the GE. Boy,
yeah.
The GE planning for this show is just really well done.
You know, their flags seem like they're putting some real thought on choosing color,
You bet.
and not just what was available.
And look here at the opening where nobody has horns.
I thought about that when I saw this band this afternoon. They were doing this routine just to percussion.
Right.
Where the horns are on the ground, and I had never seen that before.
Quite an innovative entry, and in fact, this band, drill, design, shape, and all that is right on the cutting edge, actually, of a contemporary marching band. Some of these things take a while to develop. It takes a while to develop the kinds of strides and the kinds of spatial awareness it takes to do these things in the way that they want to do it. But this is quite a good band and quite well-planned show, just a really well-designed show.
Yeah, and the black and red flags, then when they go to their tiger, what I call their tiger flags, it's quite a great visual there. But what I was talking about with the piccolo solo, with the wireless mic, now I know a lot of people around the country are really upset about electricity in music. But you know, it's just so neat to give a player like that a field experience where it was left just to the trumpet players all these years. A piccolo player can actually be a soloist.
Exactly. If you didn't have a bell on your horn, you didn't get a solo.
Boy, that's the truth. Yeah. Now, I can't see the color there well. Was that the one I was talking about? I believe that I like the flag so much on. Yeah.
Del Norte has a good tradition, and this tradition looks like it's going to go further. Just like a lot of the Albuquerque bands are really beginning to make a move, I think. I enjoyed several of those bands today. They were quite good. Lots of good solos, though. Lots of good players in this.
All right, let's take a moment now, gentlemen, for Dr. Clark to help us understand another aspect of the tournament judging. This time, we look at the overall general effect caption.
Well, so far tonight, we have discussed how judges examine individual aspects of a band show, namely marching and maneuvering and music execution. In addition to these captions, two judges look at the overall general effect, known as GE in the marching band world. GE judges consider how well the music, marching, and color guard come together on the field. Many people think that good general effect can only be achieved from dramatic visual effects like giant flags or lots of balloons and other props. While these elements can be effective visual tools, they represent only a small portion of the overall general effects caption. Overall general effects judges watch for show continuity and dramatic impact throughout the entire performance. A successful show should have an emotional ebb and flow, building musical and visual peaks and valleys. 10 minutes of loud playing and complex drill can overwhelm an audience. But on the other hand, a show with too much subtlety and long, soft passages can lose the audience's attention. General effects judges also consider overall performance effectiveness. This area can include showmanship, command of the audience, emotional appeal, spirit, pride, confidence, and the previously mentioned spectacular effects. The visual impact of the color guard and its incorporation into the show is also carefully considered. Here's a clip to demonstrate a wide variety of effective dramatic elements. The two overall general effects judges each have 200 points they can award a band. That makes this caption worth 400 points. I'll be back before the awards ceremony to wrap up this look at judging a marching band. Now back to the bands.
I'll tell you, it takes something to judge. Those are really great points and good, interesting things you're telling us. But when you start to follow all that as a judge, that has to be difficult.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the sort of thing. What in the world's this?
Well, that's actually the bottom part of an architect's hat that we use welding out of. And it was a wonderful effect out on the field. I heard it outside earlier in the day.
Kind of an anvil.
What kind of an effect?
Kind of an anvil
type effect.
I didn't
You know, I used something very similar to that once in La Fiesta Mexicana for those.
Right.
All right, we're going to go now to the Hanks High School Band from El Paso, and here to their drum majors.
Hi, I'm Marisa Alvarez.
I'm Stacy Preston.
And I'm Matt Rogers.
And we're the drum majors from Hanks High School in El Paso, Texas. Tonight, our performance includes selections from Carl Orff's Carmina Burana.
Our directors are Horacio Gomez and David Perez.
Our flag corps director is Gyneth Garrison, and our percussion instructor is Linda Orantia.
We hope you enjoy our show.
Are the judges ready? Drum majors Marisa Alvarez, Matt Rogers, and Stacy Preston. Is your band ready? Silver Knights, you may take the field for final competition.
sound beautiful, uniforms, beautiful choreography, and most of all, really lovely music. Let's talk about that.
I really enjoyed this band.
Oh, yes.
Dolores, when I saw them earlier in the day. And their uniforms are so nice, but they even look better under the lights with those silver helmets and black. But in talking about the music is just so good. They did their entire show to the Carmina Burana by Carl Orff, using, I think, 4 movements out of it, starting with Old Fortunato, which is so exciting. But musically, there's a spot that'll come up on replays a little later that I want the viewers to watch out for, where there's asymmetric meter again, and watch how they solve the non-regular number of beats when we get into asymmetric. And that'll come up here in just a little while. But I just enjoyed the music, and they played it so well, Dr. Clark.
They really did. This band has wonderful tuba sounds. Mr. David Pederis, who's one of the band directors, is a fine tuba.
Oh, is that where they came from?
Boy, they have some good tuba sounds. And as you know, we all are well aware that's the basis of the band ensemble sound many times. And you were talking about this Carmina Burana being such a unison piece with the...
Yeah, I was shocked first time I ever analyzed it to just realize how much unison and pedal this whole work is.
Right here, the pedal and unison. But if you've got those big fine tuba sounds down there, then you almost, the ear will almost give you the other notes before.
That's right. And he took, one tuba did one of the solos, one of the movements during this, and you rarely hear a tuba solo on the field.
Again, this is one of those large segments. It uses a lot of large segment film, which is, it's a catchy one too. It's going to go really well, and it's going to go well moving it on. I think they did a marvelous job.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Almost like a concert. It becomes a concert. It is
exactly.
Not exactly what you're looking at.
I hear
for
myself
a
while
marching
listening to the music.
When
I get into something like that.
Absolutely.
They even, as Francis and I were talking during the band, they even get into most of the tempo changes. It's difficult to get some of those things as fast as they
We're talking about the actual tempo change. The tempo changes in the real music on concert.
Are you talking about tempo?
If you heard it,
because of the movement.
Yeah, they may have to alter those tempos to make it. All right, now here's this Dr. Clark in this asymmetric section, so they got to figure out how to do this. Now watch those feet. Man, on all those drop counts, that's just slick.
I think they're 3/8 measures. We don't have the music in front of us, but I believe they're 3/8 bars.
Well, as many times I conducted, I should remember, but I think you're right. I think they're 3/8.
Yeah, they do that so well. Here, again, large segment. Some of this is follow the leader. However, they still have to hold form.
Still in follow the leader, you've still got to keep your carriage and your spacing. Yeah, I love this little step. What a genius to solve how to do that spot. He wanted to play that piece of the music. He had to solve how to march to it.
Right. And again, when I was doing marching band back in the 1960s, we would just either left it out or not played it.
Absolutely. Well, no.
Take it up an octave and leave it out.
That's right. That's right. Or we'd fill in with Lassus trombones. We didn't. In those days, and I hate to keep talking about old days because it makes us look so old.
Well, it's good. I like to hear you folks.
We started very early.
But see, we started in the same town.
Yes, we did.
He built the high school program there when I was there at one of the universities. That was his first job and my first job, so we'd have a lot of old times. But back then, we never played. I opened one time with the chorale from the Symphonic Suite of Clifton Williams.
Yep.
And Gene Witherspoon just thought that the neatest thing ever happened because it was concert music.
Right.
Instead of a fanfare. Well, that's common stuff now to open with. I hate to say good music. I don't mean that. I'm talking about great masters. We need to go to the next drum majors now.
All right. Our next is from Montwood High School from El Paso, Texas. We go now to the Montwood drum majors for the introduction.
Good evening. My name is Christopher Eck.
Lorena Andrade.
Anthony Female. And we're the drum majors for the Montwood High School Band in El Paso, Texas. Tonight's performance will include
Cowboys,
Ghost Riders in the Sky, and the Western Closing Production. Our directors are
Frank Anderson,
John Walker, and flag instructor Margie Dykes.
Hi, Mr. Shaw. We hope you enjoy our show.
Are the judges ready? Drum majors Chris X, Lorena Andrade, and Anthony Female. Is your band ready? Then you may take the field for final competition.
A little bit of the West from Montwood, Texas, and certainly some fine cowboys out there and fine choreography.
Yeah, this is one of the new schools in the Socorro district in El Paso. This school is in about its 4th or 5th year, I suppose, at the most, and a really in-your-face type band.
Oh, and so large.
This is the largest group in the contest outside the university band, which will be later. Yeah, I believe that's right.
That's right.
Of course, I liked them because they did a cowboy show, and actually, I'm a real cowboy, underneath all this shine. But I just enjoyed the flags and having chaps on, white chaps, and it's because it's different. For no other reason, I just enjoy the difference.
And anybody that is willing to take on that opening to the Cowboys.
Oh, the tonguing on that.
It is really.
And see, out on the field, you get it fast enough to tongue it. You got it too, so you can't march to it.
Right.
So that's you start with that.
And it's really a difficult piece to play sitting down, much less walking.
And then, in the middle of the show, to play Ghost Riders in the Sky with a tuba solo.
Yeah.
Their brands were still on fire, and their hoofs were made of steel.
don't
Hear this tuba playing the solo.
Right. And Frankie Lane made that too.
Frankie Lane.
In the 50s, I suppose, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's what I enjoyed.
I did.
Look at this dancing.
This is the way the Sawhorse got its name.
Absolutely, absolutely. Besides that, wait till you see these women are really great dancers. I hope we get to see as much of it as...
Yeah, they built a lot of the choreography of the show, of course, around this group, and they're quite good.
Oh, you bet they are.
Now, did they use flags at all? Yes, they did, didn't they? Because they used them actually in a lasso style.
Yeah, they're really
some very inventive stuff, and you notice they don't stay still very long.
This is what surprises me, Dr. Clark, when you talk about this being a young school, because they've really come a long way in, 4 or 5 years?
They haven't had time to really build a tradition. They're just entering a tradition right now.
Well, they're doing it well.
They sure are.
Yeah.
That
good
band
idea.
has always played well, too, even from the very outset, when they only had sophomores in the band. The band still played well. John Bailey had the band then. Frank Anderson has it now. Does a marvelous job. Again, last year they did a patriotic show, another just kind of in-your-face type show. And it's really,
Well, now you said they were from the Socorro district of El Paso. Is that in the El Paso?
Right. It's
because we're seeing so many El Paso bands. Are some of these more or less outer?
That's right. Socorro, when I first came here, was a little town of.
Okay, so now it's just kind of grown in like...
Right, and this is a huge school district now.
Well, here they are with the flags. Yeah, and when I first saw this, I thought, white chaps would cost about $500 a pair, but he made these out of vinyl, and so they're very inexpensive, but in the field, they look just great.
The effect is wonderful.
Good college band.
We wore shafts, leather shafts, but they were heavy. Yeah, we sure did.
Notice, with a band this large, you almost have to use large sentiment drills, but this band is doing them quite well. So just trying to hold form, moving a segment that large is really very difficult to do. And, it takes so many repetitions to get that to rehearse now. Just do it over and over. And by the time you get this many people back to the original position, we've got a problem.
Yeah, they're right in that hard tonguing spot on the cowboys. On
Well, I wondered when I first looked at them, I thought just to control 200 people, because that's what it looks like on that field. I think it is. It's close to 200 people. And that is, to me, that is absolutely amazing that they have everybody in control.
If you can, just get in the buses, really.
I was thinking the same thing.
I was going to say,
on the
just
bus.
getting on the bus.
And when you're working with children, you can't work with percentages. You want to get there and back with 100% of it.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
That is a major task for these teachers to take this much equipment as far as they go. Like Midland is a long way away. And they had trees and huts to take those from Midland.
And let me tell you, those people that are sitting out there watching, many of them realize they all have children in the bands. Band parents play a great role in the high school and in the middle school.
And the band parents, I bet, do a lot of the transporting of a lot of this equipment. And they bring it out on the field, too.
Without that parental involvement, that parental support, it's very, very difficult to make it go.
Yeah, because they raise the funds, too.
You bet
they lead the fundraising. Now we have a band coming up that has been here for many, many years in the past, the Coronado High School Band from El Paso, Texas. And here are their drum majors.
Hi, I'm Abby Nickel.
And I'm Amy Tatum. We're the drum majors at Coronado High School in El Paso, Texas.
Our band is under the direction of Mr. Kenneth Capshaw, and he is assisted by Mr. Robert Booth.
Our show is entitled On the Battlefield, based on the works of Russian composer Sergei Prokofiev. We hope you enjoy our show.
Are the judges ready? Drum majors Amy Tatum and Abby Nickel, is your band ready? Thunderbirds, you may take the field for final competition.
All right, this was a real crowd pleaser. The crowd always enjoys Coronado. What do you think about their performance?
Well, it was good. Coronado always has a first-rate band, and they have all through the years. Their music was a little different from what their usual shows are, but I liked it very much.
I didn't see an overall theme. Was that wrong?
No, I agree with you. It was hard. And, you know, in themes, I've noticed over the years, we first had the Broadway show themes, and then we had the entire famous peace situation, and they've kind of gotten away from the themes, although we had a couple of African themes, we had cowboy
we
themes.
had the Western. You know, you kind of come back into it. This didn't seem to do that.
But they're still a very fine, they're a very fine marching band. Still a good quality.
Does some, again, very difficult maneuvers and hold form quite well. I was impressed with the way they held form. When you have to change directions as many times and as often as these people do, and it's not always a 180 degree or a 45 degree or a 90 degree turn, it's difficult to hold form there.
And these uniforms, I believe they were new last year, if I recall. I may be wrong, but when they change directions, you see a different color. You see almost an all black from the front view, and then you see a gray. And here's this good horn solo that we heard, yeah.
Coronado has a history of having fine horn players because the former band director there for many, many years was Rick Lambert, and who is a fine horn player.
Yeah, that's right. I hadn't thought about that.
He's had some really fine horn players there. And Kenny Capshaw is the band director now, who is an outstanding trumpet player.
Yeah.
Plays country trumpet, I believe, with the Orchestra. And is a really good trumpet player. This band also, the Coronado band, has a stride.
Yeah.
That
yes,
is
they
kind
did.
of a Coronado stride.
It flows really well.
Now, let's stay tuned for more coverage of the 1996 American Southwest Tournament of Marching Band Finals competition right after this.
To Aggie Memorial Stadium on the campus of New Mexico State University for more coverage of the finals competition of the 1996 American Southwest Tournament of Marching Bands. This program is made possible in part by El Paso Electric Company, who supports the efforts of KRWG-TV in providing quality, family-oriented programming, and by the Music Box of Las Cruces, New Mexico, and El Paso, Texas, and the Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company of Las Cruces, New Mexico, in support of music and youth. Here again are your hosts, Dolores Lenko, Francis McBeth, and William Clark.
I heard them bringing in the Pride Band, and that has to be your pride and joy. Tell us about the Pride.
We have about 240 in this group, and they're just wonderful youngsters. And some great players. Let's go to the Pride drum majors to introduce the band.
Hi, I'm Brian Edgar.
And I'm Marcus Herron, and we're the drum majors for the New Mexico State University Pride Marching Band. Our director is Dr. Greg Pant.
And tonight we'll be playing Sammy Nestico's You Gotta Try,
Horace Silver's Nutville,
and Ken Dye's Camino Real.
We hope you enjoy our show.
The New Mexico State University Department of Music is proud to present the world's most dangerous marching band, the 1996 Pride of New Mexico. the New Mexico.
Our bands have done all of their work, and now it's all up to the judges. Dr. Clark has told us about the judging categories, and now as the judges make their final tallies, Dr. Clark will tell us how the whole judging picture is going to come together.
Here's how the three separate judging categories we have looked at tonight come together for a final score in this marching band competition. Each judge is responsible for one of the three elements that make up a band's performance. These elements are called captions. One of these captions is marching and maneuvering, or how well did the band march together as a unit and perform the intricate patterns and maneuvers designed into their show. The next caption is overall general effect, which judges how well the music, marching, and color guard come together for the show itself. Visual effects, emotional peaks, and overall showmanship are considered by the general effects judge. Finally, the bands are judged on how they play their music. Music execution is the caption that determines how well the band plays together as an ensemble, despite all the other distractions of marching and trying to entertain the audience. Marching and maneuvering is worth a total of 200 points. General effect is worth a maximum of 400 points. And music execution is worth 400 points. It's possible for a band to score a maximum of 1,000 points. So at the end of the competition, all 5 judges' totals are added together and divided by 10. Using the 1,000-point system gives the judges a more flexible way to accurately express their opinion. And dividing the total score by 10 offers the audience and the marching bands the traditional scale of 100 with which to compare their scores. As you might imagine, the competition between the auxiliary units or color guards, drum majors, and the percussion units of each band is intense and a source of real pride for these young performers. Each of these units were given special attention during the preliminary competition held this morning, and awards in all classes for all the bands and all their various units will be given. In a moment, we will have a quick review of all the preliminary awards and then the big moment. How close did you come to selecting the best band we saw tonight? On the surface, it may seem a little complicated, but it really is an efficient way to handle a complicated task. Most importantly, it's a fair system designed to give an even chance to bands of all sizes. 34 high school marching bands from Colorado, Arizona, Texas, and New Mexico have traveled to Las Cruces today to compete at New Mexico State University's 18th Annual Southwest Tournament of Marching Bands. The bands compete in 4 classes, determined by their size, and awards are given in all classes. Here's a quick rundown of all the awards given in today's preliminary competition. In Class C, which includes bands from high schools of less than 700 enrollment. 3rd place, Benson Union High School, Benson, Arizona. 2nd place, Cobre High School from Baird, New Mexico. 1st place, Morenci High School, Morenci, Arizona. Outstanding drum major from Cobre, Baird, New Mexico. Outstanding percussion from Cobre High School, Baird, New Mexico. And the outstanding auxiliary from Morenci High School, Morenci, Arizona. In Class B, consisting of schools with 700 to 1,600 enrolled. 3rd place, Burgess High School from El Paso, Texas. 2nd place, Riverside High School, El Paso, Texas. 1st place, Green Mountain High School from Lakewood, Colorado. Outstanding drum major from Mountain View High School, El Paso. Outstanding percussion from Green Mountain High School, Lakewood, Colorado. And the outstanding auxiliary, Green Mountain High School, Lakewood, Colorado. In Class A, for bands from schools enrolling between 1,600 and 2,100 students. 3rd place, Isleta High School, El Paso, Texas. 2nd place, Manzano High School, Albuquerque, New Mexico. 1st place, Del Norte High School, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Outstanding drum major, Del Norte High School, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Outstanding percussion, Del Norte High School, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Outstanding auxiliary, Santa Fe High School from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Over half the bands that competed today are in Class 2A, with enrollment of over 2,100 students. The standing in Class 2A after the preliminary competition: 3rd place, Coronado High School, El Paso, Texas. 2nd place, Midland High School, Midland, Texas. 1st place, Hanks High School, El Paso, Texas. Outstanding drum major, El Dorado High School, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Outstanding percussion, Midland High School, Midland, Texas. Outstanding Auxiliary, Coronado High School from El Paso, Texas. And the Greg Randall Award of Excellence, which is given each year to the best New Mexico marching band in the preliminary competition, is awarded this year to Del Norte High School from Albuquerque, New Mexico. The 8 highest scoring bands in this morning's preliminary competition competed in the finals tonight. All preliminary scores were thrown out, and the final awards depend on each band's performance that we have seen on tonight's telecast. Now let's go back to the field for the final results.
Now our final placement. 8th place with a score of 71.4, Andress High School. 7th place with a score of 73.5, Del Norte High School. 6th place with a score of 75.9, Montwood High School. 5th place with a score of 78.1, Bel Air High School. 4th place with a score of 80.3, Del Valle High School. 2nd place with a score of 85.6, Coronado High School. 1996 grand champion with a score of 89.6, Hanks High School.
Stadium on the campus of New Mexico State University in Las Cruces, New Mexico, KRWG-TV and the New Mexico State University Pride Band have presented the 1996 American Southwest Tournament of Marching Bands. Your hosts have been Dolores, Lenko, Francis McBeth, and William Clark. This program was made possible in part by El Paso Electric Company, who supports the efforts of KRWG-TV in providing quality, family-oriented programming, and by the Music Box of Las Cruces, New Mexico, and El Paso, Texas, and the Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company of Las Cruces, New Mexico, in support of music and youth.
In Vienna, the new year isn't officially the new year till they've celebrated.